Blackface had a little sit down with a Muslim father, and the issue of gender ideology came up. Let's play that video and listen to the father's concern and Blackface's bizarre explanation.
Mr. Prime Minister, please protect our beliefs, our culture as well, the same that you are doing for the rest. So this is where we're coming from.
I know, and I've heard this concern many, many times, and I know that it is a very real issue. First of all, there is an awful lot of misinformation and disinformation out there. People on social media, particularly fueled by the American right wing, are spreading a lot of untruths about what's actually in the provincial curriculum. Like, the federal government doesn't control what's taught in schools. That's the provincial government that controls what's taught in schools. So that's not something that is directly on the federal government. But at the same time, the federal government is unequivocal about standing up for everyone's rights and freedoms. And the highest expression of parental rights is, of course, the safety and well-being of the child. Right? Your concern as a community is for the safety, the well-being, the strength and the protection for your children. I entirely understand that. The one thing that is really, really important in Canada is a workplace that stands up for everybody's rights. And certainly when it comes to the Muslim community, this government has, well, we were the government that pushed back against the Conservatives that made a political campaign against the niqab, that brought in a snitch line against Muslims. The Islamophobia pushed by the previous Conservative government in a whole bunch of different ways was something that we always stood against. Now, this government has been and will always be the strongest ally to all minority communities, including particularly Muslims, who have faced terrible violence. And when you look at the black Muslim women in Edmonton who are attacked, there is a run of Islamophobia we absolutely have to stand against. The issue, though, is that the Charter of Rights and Freedoms that protects your religion, that gives you the freedom of religion, that allows you to fully participate in the society, give you all protections, protects all minorities as well. And it's not a buffet.
Wow, so much to unpack there, Alexa. Why don't you kick off your analysis and maybe answer the question, was that Muslim father buying what Blackface was selling?
So I was actually reading the comment on the thread of the TikTok video, and no, unfortunately, what he says is like, he's just lying. He's just not trying to answer the question properly, and he tried to just like push his agenda. You saw it, like he's just like putting down the conservative, of course, and trying like to prove that, the conservative are Islamophobe or like kind of like horrible, like party that if you vote for them, they would disrespect you and your religion. Actually, I think that is quite frankly the opposite. But this is coming from the mouth of Mr. Blackface Trudeau. And unfortunately, like, I don't think a lot of people believe what he just say, and you can just like notice it like with a lot of comment that appear on the thread of the video.
Yeah, I agree with you, Alexa. It's actually the precise opposite, because Blackface mentions the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, ensuring religious freedom, such as any religion. He mentioned Islam, but sort of avoids the elephant in the room, and that would be, if you read the Quran, you're not going to see chapter and verse promoting radical transgenderism. This is not a thing that devout Muslims cotton on to, just like devout Orthodox Jews, Christians, Sikhs, Hindus, you name it. He also talked about everyone's rights being treated equally, but that's the thing, isn't it, Alexa? We have seen recently those in the radical trans community, you're given special rights. I'll give you a case in point. Look what happened a couple of weeks ago in Toronto at the Pride Parade. You had these men going completely naked, taking out their wedding tackle right in front of children. They just love a child audience for some reason. And it's like, look at me, look how aroused I am. And we had Rob Primo. I interviewed him last week. He made a call to the police saying, I'd like to report full frontal nudity on Bloor Street near church. And the cops went, oh, would that be the gay pride parade? Yeah. You know what? That's kind of a thing they do. So they turn their eyes to that. We know from confidential video sent to us by a police officer, all the Toronto police have to have so-called transgender training. One of the ones, I brought this example up all the times in terms of special rights as opposed to equal rights, Alexa, is that if there's a trans man, in other words, if there's a woman pretending to be a man, some of them have dildos in their underwear. And when if they're arrested, if they're put in a holding cell, they are allowed to bring that dildo into the holding cell. It's not a sex toy, Alexa. It's known as a gender-affirming article, which, of course, can be weaponized. That's why when you go into a holding cell, and I know this, I think because the last time was in your city, in Montreal, with the Montreal police arresting me as a political prisoner. You lose your necktie, your shoelaces, your belt, anything that can be weaponized, anything that you can use for self-harm is taken away. But, if you're you're trans, Dave? Oh, that's okay. Take your whole kit in with you. We wouldn't want to be called transphobic. So the whole equal rights is a sham. And finally, look, if you want to go through your life pretending to be a member of the other sex, and you're living in suburbia, and you're a dude wearing a dress, or you're, a chick and you're wearing a business suit, I really don't care if you're minding your own business. But when you're trying to indoctrinate our children, and we see that going on. We see pornography in elementary school libraries. We see PFLAG, as we discussed the other day, Alexa, going to the Toronto District School Board and saying, all children at TDSB schools, if there is a drag queen performance, must remain in their seats. They are not allowed to leave. They must take in this performance. This is where I draw the line. This is where that Muslim gentleman obviously has drawn the line. But Trudeau, he doesn't care. He's committed to this kind of wokeism. My final thought on this, Alexa, is I hope this costs the federal Liberal Party support, because many Muslims do vote Liberal. And I think this might be a bridge too far for many of them to ignore.
Let me explain two stories that I did cover. One is coming up. Recently, we discovered in Quebec that one of the school board did spend $1,609 for a drag queen for an hour and a half of conference. It's during the lunchtime. Probably the consent of the parent has not been asked. I tried to reach out the school to ask more question of what happened during that conference. And I know that it happened during the lunchtime. So probably, as I say, they didn't ask any parental consent or anything. But the fact is, $1,600 is coming from taxpayer money that expose children that probably doesn't really wants to, and that leads to another story that I'm covering right now, where teenager between 13 and 16 years old face criminal charge over putting down a LGBTQ flag in their school. That will lead, and this is an article in the criminal charge, that can lead to 2 years in prison.
Unbelievable. I can hardly wait to see this report. And it is the police pursuing these charges. Is that not correct? Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Sûreté.
not an individual citizen pursuing this. So for tearing down this piece of fabric, this is considered a time worthy of 2 years in the slammer. Meanwhile, to bring it back to Leslieville, we had this armed gangbanger with years of history of violent offense, like actually hurting people, not hurting pieces of fabric, and he's out free. Are you kidding me? It is absolutely outrageous, Alexa.
And by the way, that's cool, and that sent a big message, because that school have like a lot of minority students, mostly Muslim, really religious, Orthodox, Christian, and one of the teenagers was explaining to me that it's almost 80% of them in the school really religious, who have no choice to not talk or not express how they feel, because they get oppressed by the school for not talking.
But Alexa, what I think is important in your story is to dial it back to the original news peg, this $1,600 drag queen conference. What in blue hell is a school doing in terms of hosting a drag queen conference? We have provincial test scores. I'm sure it's the same in Ontario, in Quebec as it is in Ontario, that indicate that test scores for the sciences, math, English, they're all plummeting. Oh, but you know what? Let's get those drag queens out there. Let's get those multicolored flags replacing the Canadian flag for an entire month. That's the important thing. This is grotesque, leftist, I would argue, Marxist ideology infecting the school system. Like I said, you want to be a trans person, you want to be a drag queen, do your own thing. Don't bring it right in front of the kids, please.
But in the same time, David, why you don't recycle yourself as a drag queen? It's $1,000 an hour. It's good salary.
Well, I tried that at the Halton District School Board. All that got me was, marched out by law enforcement and a ban for life for ever going to their school board or their school properties. And by the way, Alexa, you know what's very important about that anecdote? I don't care. I've got a thick skin. But this is all in regard to Busty Lemieux, the shop teacher that was teaching at Oakville, Trafalgar. And all these moronic educrats at the Halton District School Board. Oh, we're so down with the radical trans revolution, even though just about every student and every parent hated it. But this is diversity and equity and inclusion. And guess what, Alexa? Yeah, for the kids it is. When it comes up close and personal to their boardroom, suddenly they're offended by my ginormous Z-cup breasts. How dare they? What transphobes they are. I was trying to give them the giggle with the jiggle, and they booted me out of there with the cops. Unbelievable.
Well, at least you try, but I don't think they believe what you were saying.
Anyways, if anyone out there has $500 so I can recover the cost of those boobs, make me an offer.